Welcome to this week's Down Home with Tina show. Folks, I cannot believe it, but it is my 100th Down Home with Tina episode. And I have so many emotions that are going through me this entire week leading up to just knowing what this accomplishment is. It's something that I don't know if I can't say I never thought that I would have a television show, but it was always a dream of mine, and I'm going to talk with you about it and share a little bit of my story coming up in the next segment. It's going to be such a fun show. For the very first time, I'm going to have owner of Innerphase Video Production, Bob Competti, with me. We're going to talk a little bit about some things, and I don't want to give too much away. Of course, it's going to probably be more than likely about how I got here and how it all happened. And then I've got some of my favorite segments, clips of segments from previous shows. And that is just because, not that I had any other segment or show or guest or anything that I thought was less important than any of the others, because I loved each and every guest that I've had. They're what has made Down Home with Tina what it has become. And I just have some parts of some shows that really stuck out, and I'm going to have those for you here. And also, can't go without having 100th episode without some bloopers, because sometimes things don't always come out the right way. I'll just put it that way. So don't go anywhere. It's going to be a fun show, folks. You're watching Down Home with Tina.
Life is unpredictable. That's why estate planning is important. Estate planning provides you comfort and peace of mind knowing that you're taking care of your loved ones and ensuring your legacy lives on just as you envisioned. You lived a life that is beautifully and uniquely yours. You deserve an estate planning attorney who understands that and creates a plan as unique as you and in the best interest of your loved ones. You deserve the local, trusted, experienced attorneys at Dagger Law.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. I have been now doing the show for a couple of years. It was July of 2019 is when it all started. And because of the pandemic, we were, of course, held off for a couple of months in 2020, as most everything in the whole wide, I think, world was held off for a couple of months. But folks, it's my 100th episode, and I have got 100 roses here on the set today that I'm going to be handing out to folks in the community and just giving to some special folks that I have, the paths that I've crossed, and I have crossed so many in my life. It all started many, many moons ago when I started talking. I'm kidding. When I was younger, I just remember my aunts and uncles, mostly my uncles, I'm going to say, because I do believe, and I am correct on this, my aunts probably talk just as much as I talk. And I get it, honestly. We'll just put it that way. But they used to say to me, "Oh my goodness, do you ever stop talking?" And there are a lot of people like that like to talk. But I'm one of those folks who I like to talk about positive things. And I knew years ago that I wanted to have a television show. I knew this when I was in high school, but I didn't go that path right out of high school. I joined the military, and as years went on, I never gave up on believing that there was more. And at one point in my life, I worked at a bank. It was one of my favorite jobs. I always say before I did radio and before, of course, television now, that I was robbed at the bank. And that made it not so fun at that time. It led me to my church. I've always been somebody who prays. I think that was something else. I was just raised that way. My grandmother, she passed away many, many years ago, she instilled that in me. And I want to just share right now with one of the things I've always done with praying was I had letters that my grandmother had written to me when I was in basic training. And one of those verses that she put in that letter, and she was just talking to me because, I was writing to her. It wasn't fun in situations. You couldn't be with family. You were really pushed to your limit when it came to physical activities in the military, and you had all these things you had to learn during the basic training time. So I just wanted to bring over this pottery here. It has, and I was able to create with the help of a friend of mine, that has on it the saying that my grandmother had put in one of my letters, and it says, "Pray without ceasing, and everything give thanks." And when I found this piece of this bowl, this dish, very beautifully made, that I had to have it, and I knew I wanted it to be a part of my set because it was something I never stopped doing. I never stopped praying, and I always had that faith. With that being said, after I was working at my church, I met a gal who, she and her husband owned a radio station, and my very first week just so happened to be at the Fairfield County Fair when it was going on, and they do a live every day out there. And so they asked me when it fell into this talk show, when it fell into my hands, literally, that asked me what I wanted to do. And I said, well, I want to go to the fair. So I got to go out to the fair and meet awesome people. And I was very, very new and very, very raw with that. Did that for, well, they went to a different format, the radio station, and then I was in that format for a couple years, and then I decided, you know what, it's time to go and grow. And that's when I met Mr. Bob Competti. And I truly believe that when you have people that cross your path, all cross your path for a reason, and meeting the folks that I have in my life, the experiences that I've had in my life has helped me to grow. One of those experiences also during my radio time was I interviewed with the Garrett Players, and it was Ron Keaton, Donna Keaton, and Sandy Maholam. And those three folks are no longer with us. And the impact that they left on my life, from me getting the opportunity to stand up and do staged reading and act in a play and be that vulnerable in front of a live audience, I know that that is a big reason why I'm able to do what I do on television today. And I get emotional sometimes when I think about them, because they gave me that chance to just show myself who I could be. And so you just got to believe in yourself, and you got to know that you've got it within you to do it, and to never stop praying and never give up. And then before you know it, you may just very well be living your dream and doing exactly what you believe you're supposed to do. And with that, I'm going to be coming up here in my next segment, and I'm really excited to have him for the very first time, and so very appropriate for it to be my 100th episode, is Mr. Bob Competti. You're watching Down Home with Tina, and I'll be back in a minute.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area where the fountain is, and the memorials and the flags and all the stuff. And we looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. The employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's Down Home with Tina, and I have got a special guest. I say very special guest because he actually is basically the reason and how I have my Down Home with Tina show. And I just want to welcome Bob Competti. Oh, Bob.
Oh, Tina, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough.
You're not used to being in front of the camera,
I
are
am
you?
not. I said before we went on the air, this is really strange. That's why, folks, I had to have a little refreshment before. But no, I'm honored to be here, and I'm honored that you asked me on for your 100th show. So
you know what?
Thanks.
You are welcome, and I just thank you for everything that you have just been open for me to get to do for the show, and being patient when I'm kind of like, hey, da 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 da. But why did you decide to open up a video production company?
Well, 32 years ago, I was working at a television station in Chillicothe. It was WWAT TV, and I was the operations manager. Loved what I was doing, and towards the end of my time there, which was about 3.5 years, I started looking in the Lancaster and Fairfield County area and said, I love what I'm doing. Is there anything like this in this area? And I went to, at that time, was Media One. Continental Cablevision was the original. And I walked in and I said, hey, where do you guys get your commercials made? What do you do for video? And they outsourced it to Zanesville and some in Hilliard, a couple of companies. And I said, well, if you had somebody local, would you consider using them? And she said, it was a couple of sales ladies, and they said, yeah, send us a demo. So I started working on a demo and presented it to them, and they liked it. And eventually I started out of our home on Seneca Drive in Lancaster, and and here we are 32 years later. But that's hard to believe it's been that long.
But Bob, your story sounds so similar to me coming in that day after I was ready to move on and go forward. And it's the paths that you cross of certain people that you get that chance. And it's also just having that, I want to say drive, but the guts to just say, you know what, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And when you came in that day, we had just talked at the office here about, wow, I wish we could have some additional programming or just some other things that we could get onto the television show, on the station. And it was like an hour later. You popped into the front door. And I remember you probably, my reaction to you was like, are you kidding me? And it was like, because she came in and said, hey, thinking about doing a TV show here locally. What do you think? And from there, now, 100 shows later, here we are.
I know, right? And I mean, I knew of you, and I think you knew of me, and we may have kind of met, sorta, but not officially throughout the years of what I did before. But it was like, hi, Bob, I'm Tina, I'm da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then it was just like, but you don't know sometimes until you ask. And it was just like that timing of like, holy cow, yeah, and 100
You just have to do it, and that's what you did, and I know you're a very busy person, I'm a very busy person, but you just I had somebody tell me early on, it's like, if you want something done, ask somebody that's really, really busy. You wouldn't think that's, that works, but it does, and you have put your heart and soul in this from day one, and if folks knew the behind the scenes of what this lady does as far as putting efforts in and what you do behind the scenes to make your guests feel really, really special, and that's why you're sitting here 100 shows later, Tina.
Oh, Bob,
it's pretty
thank
amazing.
you so much. It makes me just like, I want to cry, and I have so many emotions. I had said earlier, because I wouldn't get the opportunity to have the creativity and to be able to do and to reach out to those nonprofits if it weren't for you and my sponsors. And of course, my family puts up with me too. And I just have to say, my fur baby, I literally this week was turning in circles like, where's the, she's the one, even she has to go through some of the things. But anyways, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
And I have one of your favorite treats in here that I remember that I found out about. It was a couple years ago, and you're...
I have to show them.
Yeah.
Does that mean I have to share if I show them?
No, the Buckeyes you can if you want.
Oh,
those are for
my
Go
goodness.
Bucks.
I don't know if I should show these. Spanish peanuts from the Candy Cottages. You are awesome. Oh, thank you very much. I don't know if I can hug on camera. Thank you so much. And before we go, let me go off course, Josh, if I can. Oh, look. And here we have a couple.
Oh, Bob, that's awesome.
I have a couple of little things here. A little birdie told me that you might like this. So there is one.
Oh,
And in honor of our producer, filmer, this is fantastic, Josh, that I thought would go well with the set. So congratulations.
Thank you so much for everything
Thank
and
you.
for making dreams come true, because I know it's not just me that you have made a difference in lives, that in the paths that you've
Well, you're
crossed
very
and what
kind,
you do
but-
off and away from here, and your volunteering and all of that, as well as making lives come true. Or dreams come
Congrats.
true. Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you. I love you guys. Thank you so much, folks. I'll be back in just a minute with some fun bloopers. Yeah, I'll bring that. You'll see what happens. Sometimes it just is what it is. It's Down Here with Tina.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Hi again, everybody. Welcome to the high school football game of the week. I'm Jaron Stewart alongside Tim Shoemaker. Tonight, we've got a great one for you. The Bloom Carroll Bulldogs.
We had a great week of practice. Even in the rain and the weather, we had a great week of practice.
Schneider, lots of running room to midfield. He's gone. Ryan Schneider down the near sideline for a touchdown for the Aces.
We have a hold on the offense, number 20. That penalty will be declined. They'll bring up fourth down.
We're going to give you this game ball here because you're a Tiberios fan of the game, and thanks for being here, Jacob.
Thank you. The Polar Bears are your OAC tournament champions, first time since 2009. What an exciting finish for the Ohio Northern Polar Bears.
And be very proud of this trophy because you've earned it.
It's Down Home with Tina, and I have so many people to thank for helping me to reach my 100th episode. First off, I want to thank, of course, my God for giving me the opportunity and the talent to be able to come on and just chat with folks and to bring positivity to the community. I also want to thank my family for putting up with me and going shopping and helping me to pick out outfits, and my best friend, who she just does amazing things with flowers, who helps me get prepared for my set about every time I do a show. And so important for me to thank my sponsors. They are the reason that I am able to pay for what I do here in the production that I have here, and Innerphase Video for all of the help, because if it weren't for the team at Innerphase, I wouldn't be able to do what I do also. So many people, and not just my current sponsors, all of the sponsors that I've had with me throughout the last couple of years. Blessings to you guys, and thank you so very much. And of course, the fans, those of you who continue to watch and follow me, and maybe the silly things that I do and share, but hopefully you walk away at the end of an episode and you have some kind of heart, if not even in your smile in your heart, but just a smile on your face, because that's what my goal is just to give the best that I can. So during this segment, I just want to share with you some of the clips that I've had that they just stuck out when I was going through all of them. Like, I was trying to go through and think, okay, which ones do I think would just really be fun to re-air with folks? This one here is with the Lancaster Police Athletic League, and it's Wes Sims, who he's too tall to stand during my boxing lesson, so you will see him kneeling, and that's why it's hilarious. It was just hilarious to me. And then Jamie Mathias, who gives me a boxing lesson. So here's that clip. I hope you enjoy.
Tell everybody what a good boxing stance looks like.
I think it's this, isn't it this?
Okay. And what is
elbows
this?
In.
Tell me about
elbows
it.
in, left foot out, right foot back, and then forward, chin down,
Chin
and
down.
look forward.
Good.
Chin down, look forward.
Perfect. I've seen worse, but I can't remember when. Right on. Good. So the first punch is a jab. It's your left hand,
yes, yeah.
right? And we always go over what's the most important part when you're hitting mitts. Do you remember what the most important part is?
Yeah, it's not how strong it is.
No,
it's where
don't
you
hit me in the face.
Oh.
That's the most important part. We do this over every time.
That's right, yeah.
So, first punch is a straight left. Good. So, you forgot to do something. What's one thing you forgot to do? Breathe.
Yeah,
you don't have to do that, but you gotta breathe. You can do that if you want to, but just okay.
Right.
Good. Ready?
Just
One.
the left. Just the left. Just the left.
Just the left. Good. Good.
Wait, what am I doing? Which me?
Make that sound. Make that. Yeah. Ready? Just.
That's my breathing.
Just like that. Ready? Yeah. Oh, perfect. Good. Right hand. Good. 1, 2. 1, 2. Look at that. Look at that.
Wow, no. Wow, no, I would never do that. My next clip I have is when I had interviewed a young lady by the name of Reese Shirey. She has been on the show a couple of times since. Thankfully, and thank God, she is in remission and she is doing well. That was about a year and a half ago, the very first time that I had interviewed with her. And anyways, she says something during that very first interview about the things that people had done and such for her within the community. And I just love her spirit. So here's Reese. Will you share with everybody a little bit about your story just from the beginning when it started?
Yeah, so I was diagnosed on February 15th, and it was a hard time, but I had my family right there to support me in my town where I live in, Baltimore, Ohio. And that just brings me joy.
And what, Reese, is some of the stuff that your very special town, I used to work in Baltimore, and they are some really great folks.
Yeah, so my aunt gave us t-shirts that has my logo, Reese Strong, and she had a Facebook page too. And when I go to the hospital, they always put stuff on there, like pray for Reese and stuff, and they always do.
This next one I have for you, it was around Christmas time, and I had the Lancaster semi-pro basketball team, the Thunder, and it was at that time, he's moved on to do other things, the coach, Jamel Cornley, and also Sean Rogers, one of the team players. And I wanted to bring a game that I thought would be fun, and they had to compete on this antler game that I had. I'll just let you watch it, and hopefully you'll smile about it, because I'm still smiling about it every time I think about it. Sean Rogers is a real treat to watch on the court, guys. They're going to fill up as many as they can, and are you guys ready? Josh, yeah. We're going to do 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to put my head down, and you guys are going to start filling, okay?
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go!
Okay. All right. That's what they call speed.
It's gonna hurt my ear.
Hope you ain't got a wig on over there.
It'll all be coming off that way. Okay, I'm gonna close my eyes and then I'm gonna say stop. I have no idea how we're doing.
All right.
Ready? Stop! How many do we have?
I'm the 10th.
That's funny. So every now and again on the show, I will ask one of my guests, what is their favorite down-home moment? And what is a down-home moment, you ask? I explain to them that it is something that's happened throughout your life that just makes you feel good and at home, a memory of some kind. It could have happened when you're a kid, when you're an adult, and any time in your life. And so Melissa Walker shared a story when I had asked her, and it was about her father, that when she was younger, and him, and that's all I'm going to say, because she shares a story, and it's just a bittersweet memory because her father had just passed away this past summer. So here's Melissa.
My favorite down-home moment is when I was little. My sisters are older than me, and they all went to school. And to give my mother a break, my dad would take me to the shoe store, and so I would have to go and behave. But what he did was he always left the car with my mom because they only had one vehicle, and I would ride on the back of his bike. So he had baskets on the back of his bike, and they would put a little pillow, and I would sit on the back of the bike and ride to the store, shoe store. And
I love that. Next up. So I thought it would be really fun to dress in a costume and have the artistic director of Ohio University Lancaster Theater Department, A. Victor Jones, and I'm just going to say that because his reaction to it was pretty. It's a great memory. So here you go. The last couple of weeks on my Facebook, I've been telling you I'm going to be a character of one of the past productions of the Ohio University of Lancaster Theaters because they've got a big, huge, fun celebration coming up in the springtime, and I want you to go and guess, who do you think that I am? Before we, Folks, sometimes things just don't come out of my mouth the way that I would like them to. Sometimes my mouth speaks before my brain thinks of what is supposed to be said. Sometimes vice versa. Anyways, here are some fun bloopers within the last 99 episodes, I should say. And here you go. I hope you'll smile. It's Down Home with Tina and those sponsors you just saw. Down Home with Tina is brought. I did the same thing last time. I'm getting nutrition, dietitian all messed up. I'm gonna go instructional coach. I'm gonna be like, she's instructional coach, okay? Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. Super excited with the fella I've got. I met him because I have a part-time job here in Lancaster at a bank. And is that okay to say?
I suppose. You're the professional, not me.
I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm going to try.
Oh! Holy cow! Holy cow! I think I got water up my nose.
We'll tell you, so we have his group.
Oh, heaven's sakes. There we go. Let's injure the puppy.
We do handle animal abuse complaints as well at the Humane Society. Are you okay?
He's okay. No, I caught him.
Yeah.
I broke the fall.
Do you have a concussion? No.
No.
So I'm just giving Tina a hard time.
It was nap time, and he was ready for a nap.
They eat, sleep, poop.
Folks, I just want you to always remember to believe in you and don't give up. If there's something that you feel in your heart that you're meant to be, keep praying about it. Pray without ceasing and always know that you will be led to what it is that your purpose is. If it's through some kind of volunteering or helping somebody else out, don't give up on you. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back next week with my 101st episode. God bless and good day.